Okay, so good to have you join us today for Youth Assembly. Youth Assembly is a show where we talk about topical issues that concerns the youths. My name is Sylvia Ishegbe, and welcome on board. I'm not alone today. I'm with Mr. Jeremiah Oludele Ayo, who is an environmental consultant. Welcome, Mr. Jeremiah.
Thank you very much.
And I also have Hawa Ocheni, a youth enthusiast, and she's also a legal practitioner. Welcome, Hawa.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So Hawa is joining us all the way from the UK. So we're good to have you. We're happy to have you today on the show as we look at scrapping of the National Youth Service Corps. Is it timely or long overdue? All right. So we'd like to sample your opinions on this issue. We know we've gotten some responses when the news broke last week on this issue, when the bill passed the first reading, about to go into the second reading. So a lot of people have been reacting to this news, and we would love you also to comment at the comment section if you think this one is a good one or it shouldn't be scrapped at all. Let us know, and then if you have any questions for our guests, we will hopefully take it on the show. Okay. So a little bit of history. Let's go back to how NYSC started. Okay, so the National Youth Service Corps was established on May 22nd, 1973, during the military regime of General Yakubu Gowon under Decree number 24. Now, this was done to reconcile and reintegrate Nigeria from the north, from the east, from the south, and west after the Nigerian Civil War. Yes. So the increasing rate of insecurity in the country right now has led to a call by Honorable Abiante Awaji, who was actually put out a bill which had been introduced and has gone, like I said, for past the first reading and about to go into the second reading anytime soon. It's sponsored by Honorable Abiante. Is this call for the scrapping of NYSC timely, or it should not be brought into the fore or into the discussion at this time when the nation needs to stay together? Let's hear your opinion, and then we'll take it from there. So let me start with you, Hawa. You know, I asked you off mic if we've all done our NYSC, and yes, I did. And let me hear from you again. Let the people hear you.
Yes, I was saying that I did my NYSC, and I must say that the NYSC period is really a period for you to really get to integrate into the whole Nigeria. Coming from the university, most of us did our universities in our localities. Either you did it in your state or you did it in Abuja. But when you go to the NYSC, you meet people from all walks of life.
I tell
Nigeria,
you,
yes, the 36 states of Nigeria. And I know that everybody in my family has done NYSC from my father. My father did his NYSC in Owo. I'm from Kogi State, and my father went to Owo. He had an opportunity to go to Ondo State, which he wouldn't have had if he didn't do his NYSC. My mom, she's also from Kogi State, and she went to Abia State. She did her NYSC in Siala Ungwa. Then my sister did her NYSC in Adamawa State. My brother did his NYSC in Oyo State in Iseyin, and I did my NYSC in Abuja, and my sister is currently doing her NYSC in Ekiti State. So, when you come to the table and you discuss all the experiences that you get from these states, because nothing would have taken us to these states apart from, NYSC. So it's a really riveting experience. And to that end, I think that NYSC should be reformed and not scrapped. We shouldn't just throw away things because there's a problem. We should try to fix it. We know that we have insecurity issues, but I don't think it should be scrapped. It should rather be reformed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yes, we always looked forward to the khaki, the uniform. We couldn't wait to wear it. I mean, when you're a young graduate and about to go for the NYSC, it was something a lot of students or young graduates looked forward to. But let me bring on board Mr. Oludele Jeremiah to hear from him also. What is your experience like? What do you think of this call to scrap the National Youth Service Corps?
Okay, first of all, you look at what's the reason for having a National Youth Service Corps. It's for reconciliation, it's for unity, it's for national development. And then, if you want to scrap the National Youth Corps, what is the basis for scrapping? We all know that Nigeria as a whole is having security issues. it's not just about NYSC alone. We have secondary school students, we have university students being kidnapped. So when you critically look at the issue, it's not just about NYSC. It's a general thing when it comes to issue and facing that we are facing in the country. So scrapping NYSC is out of the equation because if you are looking at the reason why NYSC is formed is for reconciliation, is for unity, for national development. And then I think personally, the NYC Youth Service is, achieving some of this aim, even if it's not 100%, at least it's creating this national development because many of the youths, get to, go to other parts of the country where they have not been to before, interact with regions and then with ethnic group that they have not been in contact with before. And then they get to observe, get to see how people live and then their social and cultural and environmental problems and identify with these things. So I think basically it shouldn't be scrapped. Like she said, it should be reformed, not scrapped, because it's a dream of every student that's graduated from the university to wear that khaki and then to observe and participate in that camping and also in that national service.
All right. I don't know if it's still a dream for some people because I'm looking at the responses coming from people online since the news broke of this bill. A lot of people are saying, yes, it's long overdue. That looking at the spate of insecurity here and there in different parts of the country, that people should be safe before any other thing. Before you call for unity, at least you have to have a human being who is alive and healthy to come together and stay as one. So what do you think of this opinion of some people saying that it should be scrapped because of the safety of young graduates in some parts of Nigeria?
Yes, you see, like you said, there is no doubt that we have security issues. There are security issues. It's a problem of Nigeria. It's not only a problem of NYSC. Like I said, you said that it was NYSC came into being in 1973 to foster unity and cohesion. This was the rationale behind it when Yakubu Gowon did it under Decree 24 was to reconstruct, reconcile people and to foster unity. This was the Nigerian dream.
Would you say the aim has been achieved so far?
We're in the process of achieving it. NYSC to this end has helped some people. Like I can remember before my grandmother passed away. I mean, I have 9 uncles and aunts. That time when I used to go to my grandma's room, it was I think the NYSC was more celebrated than even the convocation from the university. Because if you still go to her room, you'll see my dad and his NYSC khaki. You see my uncles and their NYSC khaki. It's like we just want to take that picture on camp and all that. Because you meet people from different states. Like, okay, I remember meeting during my NYSC, I met a friend who's still my friend. Her name is Rukaya Sani Bayaro, and she's from Kaduna State. I wouldn't have met her but for the NYSC. And today she's one of my closest friends. We share a lot of things. We do a lot of things together. And coincidentally, we both live in Abuja. So, but for the NYSC, we wouldn't have done this. And then some people through the NYSC have been able to meet their spouses. So why should you scrap? Why should you scrap this beautiful encounter just because of security issue? I say that we should carry on a little bit. Nothing lasts forever. The security issue will be tackled, and then we can go ahead with our NYSC. And again, it's an avenue after your graduation for you to earn like a visible means of livelihood. I mean, your parents paid your school fees, you go back home, and then you're still expecting mommy and daddy. And then for some people who do not have people giving them money, they have to struggle by themselves. This is the only way that the government, gives them a visible means of livelihood. I mean, when I was doing NYSC, it was 9,000 something. I had 19,000 something. I heard it's 30 something thousand now. I don't know how much it is. So it's a good way of getting a stipend. We shouldn't just scrap it that way.
Yeah, I like it. I like what you said. It's a good way of getting excited, but some people are not just excited anymore about it. But Mr. Jeremiah, so people have gotten married through the NYSC scheme. People have gotten great job opportunities and career opportunities because it's traveled to certain parts of the country. And also, what would you say about the scheme? Has it outlived, in your opinion, outlived its usefulness or its purpose, which is actually, when it started, it was to bring people together and unify people. So take it from.
Looking at the scheme, we all know that it's to foster reconciliation, reconstruction, and rebuilding. And then, if you look at the statistics, we have a lot of people that are engaged, have been engaged, and they are married through NYSC. Um, is there a problem with NYSC in terms of organization, in terms of performances? Yes, there is, because there are loopholes, there are issues of when it comes to people manipulating the system and other things. Is there also issue in terms of security? Yes, there is. But we shouldn't rule out the fact that the issues with Nigeria is not just about security. There is also lack of job. There is also, this unemployment, high rate of poverty, and also other things. And then this NYSC provides jobs for a lot of people. And if we look at the statistics, we still have, despite the fact that there are a lot of issues with country, there are NYSC corps members that are they are privileged to get job after their service year, which means one way or the other it provides jobs. And then we have a lot of programs that are introduced, especially when it comes to times of Said, try to give this corps member entrepreneurial skills, and then educate them to create opportunity for them after the service year. So definitely NYC has created a lot of, to me personally, it has helped in terms of national development, because now you have Yoruba man that travels from southwest down to northeast, and then get to marry someone in the northeast. And then you have people that are from southwest that get to that were posted to north central, and then get to meet their missing rib, and then get married. And then we have a lot of people testimony. You have a lot of pictures, even when they get engaged and stuff, they post it on social media. And then we have a lot of people. So those are the things we're looking at when in terms of national building and bringing people together. Now we have a lot of marriages from NYC, people mixing from the north to the south, south mixing to the west, and then every other thing. We know we have a lot of problems in this country because we are diverse. We are a nation with diversity. We have a lot of ethnic groups, so this NYC youth service is really helping in terms of national building, because it's pulling a lot of ethnic groups together, and then fostering this unity in terms of marriage and other things. And maybe I think personally, the reason why Nigeria is still together when it comes to the aspect of everybody breaking up is still for the fact that we have a lot of marriages that comes from these different ethnic groups that is still pulling us and still holding us together. And we can give the credit, part of the credit, to NYC Youth Services.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what you just said now got me thinking. Okay, if they scrap it and people are calling for breaking up and all of that, what will happen to those couples that are from different parts of the country? Will they go their separate ways? Anyway, let's leave that. Okay, so we have some comments. Let's take the comments we have. Asking the question, scrapping of NYSC, is it long overdue or it is timely? And Hiyoma Okeji, thank you for your comment. She says, I don't think it should be scrapped. It should be scrapped. NYSC helped a friend of mine find her career path. Imagine. Thank you for your comment. And then we have another one. Alice Jacinta Osage, thank you again. It shouldn't be scrapped. That is our opinion. And thank you for sending in that comment. All right. So all of you watching, let us know your opinion on this issue about the NYSC, the call to scrap it. Is it timely or long overdue? Or what is your question? If you have any, drop it, and then we have guests to answer. Let me bring back Hawa Ocheni back on board. Okay, Hawa. So you had Mr. Jeremiah speak about the benefits of the NYSC to Nigerians and the nation as a whole. Okay, so what do you think about, considering the unemployment problem in the country, what will happen, in your opinion, to people who work for NYSC if this should be scrapped? Imagine.
Exactly. That is one side of the coin, and I'll tackle the other side of the coin first. That is the student. I mean, you're coming from school, you have no money, you have no visible means of livelihood, and then the alawe, they call it alawe now, it's 33,000 naira. Yes, and
Alawi,
you want to take that away, snatch that away from the students. I mean, the crime rate is going to increase. I mean, there's solace when you finish your degree, when you finish your degree and you go into NYSC and you're earning money. I mean, the first thing I learned on my NYSC camp in Abuja in Kubwa was I bought the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. It was the first time actually I started thinking about savings. Yes, because it was the first time I was earning. The money was coming into my own account. I opened a bank account with FCMB Bank. You know, we have all these bankers coming to tell us about account opening, you know, savings account and all that. They told us the implications of current account and all that. So it's actually a learning process. You get to know, oh, now dad and mom is not going to give me money. So Hawa, it's time for you to start saving. You read books, you read The Richest Man in Babylon, you read The Rules of Money, you read Richard Templar's books and all that, because they sell these books on camp. They do this so that you learn, you know, the value of money. So how do you snatch that from students? And then on the other side of the divide, the people who work for NYSC have built their careers on that. I know a lot of people who have built their careers, in youth, and then you have this community development service. The community development service is the only way a student can, input by volunteering into the community. I did the community legal aid service where we had to go to the Kuje prison. By going to the Kuje prison, it enabled me to see live miscarriage of justice. I mean, we had people who were in the prison who, just because the Ministry of Justice didn't have enough lawyers, they couldn't get their cases to court. So what we did was, because we were already lawyers, we were already called to the bar, so we had to step in to help them as councils that are helping the country. So how do you achieve this if NYSC has been scrapped? And then NYSC again was a stepping stone for me to build my legal career, because now, having been called to the bar and doing my NYSC, Hawa now sees live how you learn the ropes of the legal intricacies. How will I do this if there was no NYSC? So I'm just thinking.
Food for thought. Yeah. Okay, so we have comments from Theo Tanko Chigundu. He says it shouldn't be scrapped. Aside the Nigerian military and paramilitary, NYSC is one program that brings Nigerians together. It promotes unity. I think the government should improve its standard. Just like you're calling for reform of NYSC, he is also calling for one. Hafsat Isa went on to say it should be reformed instead, but safety first. Okay, thank you, Hafsat. And Ihoma UKJ went on to say, I remember how sad we were when we completed the scheme. It was like a cover and had been removed from us. The scheme gives you a kind of protection. People respect you and are always willing to assist you. When they see you in the uniform, also the Alawi is a major incentive. Wow. Yeah. Ihoma, I felt like that too when I finished NYSC. I was like, but thank God I got a job immediately. So, but for people who didn't get a job immediately, you that your 20,000. How much is it now? 30 minimum wage. Yeah. You think you feel like something has been removed from you. How do you react to these comments, Hawa?
Exactly. You see, it Alawi is an incentive. I actually know somebody, when we were serving, saved their money, because where I served, I also served in the Federal Judicial Service Commission. Aside the Alawi, we also had a little money from the office. So you are able to save. So in case you do not get a job, you also have some money saved to do business. Because having been in the NYSC camp and you're reading books about how to save, The Richest Man in Babylon, The Rules of Money, you actually shape your thoughts about how to use money. So you can start a business. You can start something. Somebody in the NYSC camp started making leather bags, and she's doing that till today. Some people went ahead to learn how to do makeup, because apart from the white collar job, you also learn some craft in NYSC. And my craft I learned in NYSC during that time was makeup, because I wasn't into makeup. So I started learning how to do makeup. I knew things, how to put the lashes, the contours, and all that. So if you don't get a job, you can go into that, and then there are people to support you. We have people, they give you their social media handles. If you don't have a job, join us here. We'll continue, and you have a little money saved, so you can do that anyway.
Okay, Jeremiah, what do you think about this? The call for reform. Some people have argued that people don't take, or young graduates don't take it seriously. That it has outlived, the NYSC scheme has outlived its purpose. You get people who are buying their way to get posted to where they want. Okay, and also people who get to camp and don't do anything. All these things that Hawa has mentioned, some people don't actually put in the work or engage in these activities, so they just pass through the system without the system going through them. What do you think? What kind of reform do you think should happen at this point?
Okay, when we talk about reform, there are a lot of things that needs to be reformed as far as NYC is concerned. Number one, posting a corp member, should be based on what the corp member, graduated with. You can't post someone that is doing a particular course to a field that is not relevant. He won't function, or he or she won't function the way it's expected, because the person didn't study what is related to where it's serving. I think that's number one. Then number two, um posting a club member, it shouldn't be something that it can be manipulated, because now there's a lot of manipulation when it comes to times of posting. You see a lot of people paying money to get where they want and other things. This system is designed for you to visit where you've not been to, and also to get acquainted with where you have not been to, and also to experience the life where you have not been to. So in case a club member happens to be a president tomorrow, it can understand the geographical condition of the country, and also understand how people live and the environmental challenges, so that it can come address this issue. That's one of the reasons why you have this NYC. So I think it shouldn't be about you being a big man being able to manipulate or then influence the program and say, okay, this is where I want my child to to serve. We all know that there's challenges, there's security challenges in the country, but then let's look back to the reason why we have the NYC in the first place. So that's another thing. Then thirdly, personally, I think this reform should be about, it should be a personal thing. It shouldn't be mandatory, because now when you finish NYC and then you're looking for a job, a NY certificate seems to be one of the major criteria to get a job in Nigeria. I think it shouldn't be so. People, should get a job apart from this NYC certificate, because then you kind of like try to prevent other people that are also proficient in particular job not to get a job because they don't have NYC teacher certificate. And I also think the delay in posting should also they should be looking into, because you have students graduating for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then having to wait at home till they can't do anything, they can't function properly, they can't do anything, they just have to wait for the time of posting before they find a purpose or usefulness to their life. So this delay should be looked into. They also where they're serving, there should be a check meeting. It should not just be about you posting a corp member. I know of so many corp members that are posted, but then they have to bribe the organization or where they are posted to, and then they don't go to
CDS. They don't even engage in all those CDS activities.
Yes, some people bribe with the organization they are working, and then get to like go once a week or once in a month, and then just feel part of like I serve. I'm also a serving corp member. It shouldn't be so. The person or the corp member is meant to function, to perform 100% where the person is posted to. So all those things need to be looked into.
All right. So, Honorable Biante, who actually proposed to who is sponsoring the bill, said, due to insecurity across the country, the National Youth Service Corps management now gives consideration to posting corps members to their geopolitical zones, thus defeating one of the objectives of setting up the service corps, as developing common ties among the Nigerian youths and promotes national unity and integration. Now, with this new development of posting people to their geopolitical zone, would you say this is still part of the purpose of NYSC, or is the reform needed at this time? Hawa?
I don't think posting students to their geopolitical zone that would defeat the purpose of the NYSC, because I'm going to read now. When there was another reform that was made by decree number 51 of 1993, and one of the objectives there, I'm going to read verbatim, is to inculcate discipline in Nigerian youth by instilling in them the tradition of industry at work and of patriotic and loyal service to Nigeria in any situation they may find themselves. So the key word there is any situation they may find themselves. And to be fair to NYSC and, the Nigerian government, for example, the volatile areas like Adamawa, Maiduguri, and Yobe, I remember that time my sister was posted to Adamawa. So what they did was they made them to camp in Benue State, and then their substantive posting and CDS was done in Nasarawa State. Some areas are more volatile than others. So as a youth, you're supposed to have youthful exuberance. You're supposed to be traversing the world. I mean, you're a youth. Why should you stay in your geopolitical zone? Why should you be cocooned in an environment? They say travel is the key to knowledge. So if you're traveling, you learn things, you grasp here, you grasp there. But if Hawaii is staying in North Central, so what am I going to learn? What am I going to learn if I don't go to the Northwest, I don't go to the Northeast, I don't go to the Southeast? And, this is how we learn. So giving people posting to their geopolitical zone is defeating that purpose, actually. I don't think that is the sort of reform we need. And then when you talk about the community development service, like Jeremiah was saying, NYSC is not just for employment. To get somebody who can function in the corporate society, you have to have a holistic person. You have to have a person who can deliver substantially, and then the corporate social responsibility. Like I told you, we did the legal aid community service. I mean, I wanted money. I was getting money from my office, but to what length can Hawa go to represent the Nigerian the Ministry of Justice without being paid? It takes a lot to from the compassion of your heart to go to court and to defend people who are in the prison who do not have legal representation. So how do you do that? And then we have people who in the community, they clean up environments. Like that time in Area 10, we had a group of people who made sure that Area 10 was clean. That was their own community development service. Then some people were in charge of tree planting. Then some people used to go to hospital to visit people who were sick. So how do you do this? How do you do this if you do not have the community development service? So the NYSC certificate transcends employment, stricto sensu. It goes down to humanity. How do you get humanitarian, aid if you do not do community development service?
Yeah, true. I agree. I agree with you. But before we go, Jeremiah, what would you say to this? There's a comment we got from Hafsat where she said it should be reformed. She agrees with you. It should be reformed, but safety first. So in terms of safety, what should be done? Because we're seeing the insecurity happening there and there, even in places where it was turned peaceful and enjoyment zones like Imo State, for example. But what would happen? What do you think should happen in this instance? Because you don't even know where these things will happen next.
The issue of security, like I said earlier, is a general thing. I just lost a friend yesterday. He was the command provost of Nigeria Immigration Service in Imo State. He was shot last and on Saturday night, and then his body was found in the morning yesterday. So when it comes to the issue of security, it's a general thing in Nigeria. In the northeast, in the southeast, in almost every corner of this country, now we're having issue of security. So should we say because of security, we should stop education, we should stop, NYSC, or we should stop going out? I think the major thing we need to do is to look into the issue of security in Nigeria. We need to really address the issue properly. When it comes to government standing up and then doing what's needful, when it comes to the issue of identifying where this problem is coming from and then trying to solve the problem. So the issue of security is not peculiar or it's not specific to NYSC alone. It's general trend and a general thing in the country as a whole. So I am calling on the government to actually do the needful and then look into the issue of security and create an enabling environment for people to strive and also to live, to be able to sleep with their two eyes closed and then to go about their normal duty, their normal activities, having their minds rest assured that they will be safe at the end of the day.
Okay, I'll take those as your final words. Thank you so much, Mr. Jeremiah, for coming today. Mr. Jeremiah Oludele Ayo, who is an environmental consultant, and of course, he is passionate about the youths, as he's a youth himself. Thank you again. And to you, Hawa, what would you say finally as we wrap up to the government in terms of security. Do you think that for now NYSC should be on hold while we sort out the insecurities in some parts of Nigeria, and then we'll resume later? What do you think?
No, I think in the first place, what brought the NYSC into being is the civil war. And if you read between the lines, we are heading towards that. So NYSC is the sort of stereotype that is holding us together. Yes, there is insecurity. Yes. For now, maybe they should halt the postings, but they should continue as long as when the insecurity issues are tackled. But ultimately, it shouldn't be scrapped, because in the first place, it was the civil war that led to the creation, and we're heading towards that now. There's a lot of underlying issues as regards, tribalism and all that. We don't want another civil war.
Thank you so much, our legal practitioner in the house, Awal Jenny, and she is also a youth enthusiast, joining us all the way from the UK. I like to say that. A lot of youths want to jump, so when they hear UK now, they'll be ginger.
No, don't worry, I'm coming back. I'm coming back as soon as possible. I'm coming back as soon as I round off my, degree. I'm coming back.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again. And we hope you took something out of this discussion today as we looked at scrapping of the NYSC scheme. Is it timely or long overdue? To all of you who joined us via our social media platforms and also via our websites, www.clickniger.net, and on our app, on the app. Yes, MixLR, we're there at Click Now. Just search for us, and then you can listen to us 24/7. Thank you for your time. To all of you who sent in comments also from LA, Jacinta to Ioma, to Theo Tanko and Hafsat Isa, we appreciate you. And if you just watched, you did a lot by watching. You took something out of here, and we appreciate you. My name is Sylvia Ishebe. We'll be back tomorrow for another interesting edition of Youth Assembly. For now, stay safe, and please pray for Nigeria. Yes. Bye, Hawa.
Bye.
Okay.